Ladies and gentlemen, it is a two video kind of day. If you're not seeing this wrong, this is a literal matchmaking intel that Activision has given us. It's actually addressing skill-based matchmaking, not just beating around the bush, telling us exactly what goes into it, how it works, dispelling some rumors behind it. And quite honestly, I can't believe it. I already uploaded one video today going over unreleased gameplay footage from an unreleased Call of Duty game. It's been kept secret for 10 plus years, and today I got to bring you guys some gameplay of it. So if you want to check that out, it'll be linked down in the description. And then I was working out, and then all of a sudden my phone starts blowing up, and yeah, skill-based matchmaking got addressed. So let's dive into it and talk about what was actually said. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think a lot of people are going to be mad about the intel that they give us, but just to be clear, I'm just bringing you guys the video. Like, don't shoot the messenger. Don't go after me. I'm just telling you what they said about it. All right, so here it is. It starts out by going into what actually happened. They said, with the launch of Modern Warfare 3 Season 1 late last year, we committed to a conversation with our community about matchmaking. So they're about 2 months behind on this one, but hey, better late than never. They then go on to say this blog focuses on how matchmaking works across multiplayer. We will be continuing the conversation about matchmaking in other modes such as Call of Duty Warzone and ranked play on a later date. So everything that we are going to talk about here is in regards to multiplayer. So let's see what they have to say about this. Essentially, they say their matchmaking is composed of many factors: connection, time to match, so in other words, how long it takes you to get into a match; skill performance, that's the skill-based matchmaking part of it; what platform you were on; voice chat, I'm interested to read about that one; input device, so whether you're using mouse and keyboard or controller; recent maps and modes, that one's interesting; and playlist diversity. Not sure what that one means either. So then when we scroll down here, they kind of list this out in what is most important. So they put it into 3 categories. So connection is most important, time to match is second important, and then 3, this is everything else. So first of all, connection, they say ping is king. It says it's a critical and heavily weighted factor in the matchmaking process. So they say that that's number 1. 2 is time to match, how long it takes you to get into a match. That makes a lot of sense. And then 3, everything else goes into this. So playlist diversity, the number of playlists available for players to choose; recent maps and mode, considering maps you have recently played on, as well as your preferences; editable and quick playlist settings. I have no idea what that actually has to do with putting you into matches other than you just choosing them. I don't fully understand that. Skill and performance. This is used to give our players a global community with a wide skill range, the opportunity to have an impact in every match. So they don't go in depth as to what actual skill goes into this, whether it's your score per minute, whether it's your kill death, whether it's your win loss. They don't say what, they just say that it is a factor. Input device, we've already talked about this one. And then voice chat enabling or disabling, no idea what that would have to do with it, but apparently it does. Maybe they try to match people talking with voice chat with other people talking with voice chat. I don't know. So they say that this has created a stronger community for Call of Duty worldwide, and then they go in more depth with it. I'm not going to read through all of this. I'm going to summarize it. So the first thing that they say here is that matchmaking connection is the most important. They always try to have the best delta ping, which essentially means connecting you to the closest possible server. What I don't understand about this, and I'd love if they addressed it, and again, they're not talking about Warzone here. I get in lobbies all the time, specifically in Warzone, where everyone is speaking Spanish. I live in Canada. Nobody speaks Spanish here. So that means I'm connecting to Mexico, probably not Spain. So I would love an explanation as to why that happens. And it even happens more when I'm playing with a party of people. And also one of them, I guess, lives close to Mexico, but the rest of us very, very far away. The next thing that they say is time to match. So this just talks about they want to have a very quick time. They want you in game as fast as possible. The one interesting thing about this is they said on when they had the playlist Rustment, when players were getting into a lobby of Rust, leaving early and then joining back in to try to get onto shipment, it creates a vacant spot during this time. And basically too long didn't read. Trying to cherry pick maps may have an unexpected result. I don't know what that means, but it sounds like they're trying to stop people from doing that. So they want you to just stay in the game that you're put in. All right, here's the big one: measuring skill for matchmaking. So this part I'm actually going to read. Skill is determined based on players' overall performance, kills, deaths, wins, losses, and more. They also finally confirmed that this also has to do with picking your teammates too. So if you're an Unreal player, they are indeed going to put you with crappy teammates. That's something that's been theorized for a long time, now officially confirmed. So the next part of this essentially says they try to eliminate really high skilled players from playing with really low skilled players to create a variety of outcomes. In other words, the games that you win and lose happen more proportionately. This next paragraph is really important, so I'm going to read it. Our data shows that when lower skilled players are consistently on the losing end, they are likely to quit matches in progress or stop playing altogether. This has an effect on the player pool. So in other words, if you put low skill players with high skill players, they just quit the game altogether. Then it says a smaller player pool means wait times for matches increase and the connections may not be as strong as they should be. This can compound over time, blah, blah, blah. Then, eventually, when only high-skilled players remain because of lower-skilled players have quit out of frustration, the result is an ecosystem that is worse for the overall outcome. So in other words, all the crappy players quit, then it's high-skilled players, and then it's a really, really sweaty lobby. That's what they say. Then it says, we also understand that many high-skill players want more variety of experience, but often feel like they only get the sweatiest of lobbies. I love that they put that in. We have heard this feedback clearly and will continue to test and actively explore ways to mitigate this concern. So reading between the lines there, they say that they're going to try to address the skill-based matchmaking for high-skilled players, which would be nice. But reading between the lines, what they're actually saying is when high-skilled players get in these high-skilled lobbies, they don't quit as much as if you were to put a low-skilled player in a high-skilled lobby, which means it's more beneficial for them to have these high-skilled lobbies just happen more frequently and have the lower skilled players in their own kind of lobbies so that they play for longer. In other words, more revenue for them, which is kind of what we already knew. So for future communications, they say, in addition to today's blog post, our technology team is developing a ping and matchmaking white paper for those inclined to get into more granular information about Call of Duty matchmaking. Stay tuned. So that's just about connection. And they also said earlier on that they're going to have future posts about Warzone as well as ranked play to go with this as well. Now, community questions. This is the best part of the whole thing. Does Call of Duty consider engagement, in other words, time played, as a factor in matchmaking? We do not consider how often or how much you play when determining matchmaking. That one's hard to believe for me, but if they're saying this, they kind of have to tell the truth, but hey, who knows? Next one, does Call of Duty matchmaking process impact any in-game elements such as hit registration, player visibility, aim assist, damage, etc.? No, our matchmaking process does not impact gameplay elements. So people who are saying if you're a crappy player, your bullets deal more damage or you have better aim assist, that is now debunked as well. Does spending money on Call of Duty content change how players are matched? Money spent does not in any way, shape, or form a factor into matchmaking. Does Call of Duty use bots? No, they do not. And if they do, we will inform the community about it. Do partners or content creators get special consideration in general matchmaking? No, I can tell you firsthand, we do not. Our matchmaking sucks just as much as yours. It's sweaty literally all of the time, and they've kind of confirmed that with this. Have you ever considered an opt-in, opt-out for matchmaking algorithm? Our data suggests that splitting players based on opt-in, opt-out matchmaking system will have a negative consequence on overall player pool. That means potentially longer wait times based on the type of matchmaking selected and matches with poor connections. So I guess that's not happening. This is probably the most important one of the entire thing. Have you ever tested removing skill as a consideration from matchmaking? We have run tests over the years to determine if removing skill as a consideration from matchmaking makes sense. We will continue to launch these tests periodically. To date, the data remains consistent that what we have detailed above. Players tend to quit matches or stop playing if they're getting blown out, resulting in a negative overall experience for all players in the lobby and general player population. We purposefully do not disclose when these tests occur because it may impact feedback or data. That actually makes sense. The last part makes sense. If they're going to test that, they can't let you know. It's kind of like doing a blind taste test. You can't see what's going on if you want the test to actually work. But from what they are saying is skill-based matchmaking is good for players, is essentially what they're saying, which is very hard to believe, but that is what they are saying. Now, this one's interesting too. Have you considered removing skill from matchmaking in specific multiplayer game modes? They basically say, we've considered it. We haven't done it, but we would consider it, but we are nothing to announce on that front today. So in other words, doesn't sound like it's happening anytime soon. So honestly, skill-based matchmaking, it's here to stay. They say it's better for the game, and that is pretty much that. That kind of sucks. I was hoping for a little bit more than that. I like that they debunked the rumors with damage being improved for crappy players. But yeah, it's not really good news. They're not going to be changing it. They say that they're constantly monitoring it, but they're not going to be changing it. Skill-based matchmaking is the way that it is. It is there to stay, and that is pretty much that. That's my takeaway from it, at least. So yeah, it kind of sucks, but I guess according to them, it is good for the game. Like I said, don't shoot the messenger. But of course, let me know what you think down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, not the content, the video, appreciate it if you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Try to keep you up to date on everything Call of Duty. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, peace.